When Doom 3 came out, it was already ahead of its time visually. Impressive lighting and detailed characters made it an atmospheric romp, even though it didn't really hold up to the originals on the gameplay front. BFG Edition comes with Doom 1 and Doom 2 and a remastered version of Doom 3 and its expansion pack, also some new levels, but is it still fun to play after all these years? Yes, mostly.
Welcome to Mars, Marine. Please report to your security chief for all duty-related concerns. Safety is integral to all operations. Handle firearms with extreme caution. Never discharge weapons in an area that may compromise the installation's structural integrity. Remembering these procedures is paramount to your success here on Mars.
If you've never played Doom 3 before, it's the usual Mars gone wrong, unleashing hell story. There's nothing quite like a dark, creepy Mars research facility where humans are poking where they don't belong as their barjo.
The devil is real. I know. He built his cage.
I'm getting abnormal readings here.
It's the perfect setting for evil to be discovered and take over the minds and souls of everyone on the planet. I forgot how stressful and suspenseful the start of this game is, Barjo.
Yeah, it's such a great setup, isn't it? And I'll just happily play the crap out of anything set on Mars, in general anyway. When I look back on Doom 3 though, I don't really have that nostalgic feel, and I think it's because the game just ran like a dog on my PC, and also it was so dark that was very frustrating. In fact, it was so dark that modders quickly added a torch to many of the weapons called the duct tape mod, and it was hugely popular at the time.
Well, BFG Edition comes with a shoulder lamp as standard, so that problem is solved. And in fact, surprisingly, the game held up quite well in general. Gameplay echoes days of old, lots of dodging fireballs and lots of monsters in a closet.
Yes, in fact, you start to develop a bit of a phobia of opening doors playing this game, because almost every second door has some enemy leaping out at you. There's also lots of sandwich gameplay.
What's sandwich gameplay?
It's a term I just made up, where you walk into a room and enemies spawn on either side of you and then they sandwich you in for a bit of stressful situation.
Okay.
Even though it could be argued that that whole dodging twitch gameplay was already starting to feel a bit old when Doom 3 came out, I still had quite a lot of fun with it this time around, Hex, and it still made me jump now and then too.
It is possible to get lost now and then, but mostly you'll always have a sense of where to go in these levels due to thoughtful lighting and enemies spawning in areas to draw your attention. And, you know, I mean, it makes sense that this new Marine doesn't know the complex that well anyway.
Yeah, and one thing I never appreciated about the level design back when I first played it was how it dumps you into a door or an area that you need to access once you've got the key. It's a bit like finding that door which leads you out in a Skyrim dungeon or a mission in Rage, for example, but I think it's much more subtle here.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing to play a game that doesn't have objective markers constantly pointing your way all the time. That's so rare these days as well. I feel like the art and design of these locations never got the glory it deserved, and I think that's because even though visually it's so far ahead of its predecessors, this game just didn't have the impact of Doom 1 and 2. But the way the story is told around you and the way you interact with computer screens is just wonderful.
Yeah, and I loved all the PDAs you find about the place, which give you all that backstory, especially as the first PDA references, you know, everything's kind of going all right, a few problems, and the next one is totally messed up.
There is no cause for alarm, but I am requesting we rotate squads every 90 days.
Our initial testing on the primary alignment module indicated excessive stress fracturing.
The situation here in Sector 1 is bad. Shortly after getting shut zone.
Plus they give you those handy codes to get into the supply lockers. This remaster has nicer textures and you can push it into a good resolution on PC, but you might have to go into your video card's software and force some of the settings to get it to work like we had to. There is also a ton of motion blur, and you'll want to turn that off pretty quick unless you like vomiting on your keyboard. The game is also optimized for 3D if you're into that kind of thing, but what we really want to see is the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset with it, which id founder John Carmack demoed behind closed doors at E3 this year.
What I've got now is, I honestly think the best VR demo probably the world's ever seen.
I just want virtual reality to be something that exists in our lifetime, Barjo. I just really want that.
Me too. The multiplayer is just as forgettable as it was when Doom 3 came out.
Terrible.
But I had a good time with this remaster, Hex. It's the best version of Doom 3 available.
Those terrifying audio cues are one of my fondest memories from the entire Doom franchise, and it's as gripping as ever here. That said, I'm not sure out of all the games out there that Doom 3 really needed to be remastered, but they've done a really good job. So I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm gonna give it 8. Now Hex, when I say beards and dancing, what do you think of?
Oh, there was this terrifying Christmas show I saw when you were Santa Claus and they were doing this
No,
weird
Dave
routine.
Callan's gonna do some dancing games.
Oh.
Dave Callan, everyone.